gorgeous. I'm amazing. How are you?
Good. You look beautiful.
Thank you. It's like spring is in the air.
I know. I'm gonna do my
Finally.
best to keep on my little springy jacket, but girl, the hot flashes are no joke. So layers. You know, this jacket may come off several times. We'll see. I don't know.
I don't mind that. It's been that long.
What?
I don't mind. It's been that long for anything, so anything will get me going.
Shit. So, welcome back to Life in the New Normal podcast, y'all.
Yeah.
I am Ashley Heydrich, and this is our fabulous life coach, Dina Paduano.
Hello.
Yes. Hello. And I'm just going to dive right in because I have no idea what the hell we're talking about today. I mean, I know the topic. I don't know what I have to offer on this, so we'll see.
Oh, I think you have lots to offer. I think anyone has lots to offer.
Okay. All right. I'm glad you have faith in me. So today, y'all, we're talking about life hacks. And so when you suggested this topic, I thought, okay, so like dollars in an old tube of chapstick when you go to the beach, or
No.
like car wax to defog your bathroom mirror when you shower, or Legos in your dishwasher.
What does Legos in your dishwasher mean?
I mean, if you have kids and you want to disinfect your toys.
Yeah, I don't have kids.
Is that
so
what you
that's
mean
not
by
an
life
issue.
hacks today? What do you mean?
No, what I mean by life hacks is I think so many of us that we have like are neurodivergent people or people who literally find quick ways to get things done that actually acclimate to what it is, like how they are. So I can give you an example is for me, I have, the ADHD, and I make boards for every day of the week on the wall so that I don't have to think, and everything I need to do with maintaining the house and cleaning the house I put on that board so that I don't have one full day of just cleaning. I have little bits that help me keep it up. So Mondays, let's say I sweep or I vacuum. Tuesdays I mop. Wednesdays I dust. Thursday, so like my brain doesn't want to have to think about it. It's too overwhelming. So I put it on a board, right?
Okay.
And so like this one always confuses me, and I've had friends before who are hypoglycemic or they get low blood sugar. I'm always amazed that they don't carry bars or something around in their car, right? Because once
I used
you're
to
in
have
that
to do
situation,
that.
well, yeah,
I probably
but
still
once
should.
well, once you're in that situation and your blood sugar gets low, you're now putting that pressure on everyone else who's either with you because you have to stop now.
Right.
And you have to go get stuff, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
these life hacks are about what we can do to simplify our life, to add a subtle change that will give a profound impact, that it doesn't always, it isn't always a big thing, and it isn't always super frustrating, and it isn't something that it's like, oh my God, we got to tackle this again. Do you know what I mean? And so there are things I'm sure that you do that make your life easier.
Well, I mean, I do keep a schedule for sure. I couldn't live without a schedule, but it's in my little iCal, on my computer that I can pull up at any time, and I can pull up on my phone at any time. I don't keep stuff like cleaning and stuff like that on there, but I mean, I have to keep all of our podcast dates and work schedule for other things and
okay, so a lot of people always tell me
I have to have a schedule. I can't live without a schedule.
No, for sure, but see, the schedule thing sounds great in theory, but I never look at it.
You don't?
I never, well, it's not that I don't, it's that I forget or I'm too whatever, and then some days I'm like, oh my God, too much pressure. So I set, as you've seen, a lot of alarms. So like dog's meds, 3 times a day, I set an alarm. Lots of people tell me, oh, I forget to take my medicine. Oh, I forget to... Why wouldn't you set an alarm? If it's something you do every day and you're consistently forgetting, why would you put that pressure on yourself that I have to remember? Why wouldn't you just have a daily alarm for that?
Right.
That's
well,
just
or a reminder that just pops up.
Well,
every day. You don't have to reset.
It's not so much.
I'm sorry. If you have an iPhone, which I know not everybody does, and this is the only platform I'm familiar with, y'all, so forgive me, but iPhones are so intuitive in the fact that if you want to have reminders, you set a reminder and you can have them repeat every day for certain things. Like I use mine for when to put the freaking garbage cans to the street. If you're in a city, then you have
Exactly.
to do that because the schedule in Charleston is so dumb. It is so dumb. The recycling schedule is every 2 weeks, like on
Oh,
a Monday,
wow.
and it's like, and then they pick up the trash on a different day, and that's every. I can't, so I have to set the thing. And
Yeah.
then moving your car, like we've got signs on either side of the street to move your car for the street sweeping. And you will get double dinged. You'll get dinged every hour, a ticket every hour if you don't move your car.
What? They
You
give
can't
you
just
more than one ticket?
That's correct. So it's like they're serious
Oh.
about it. So I have to set the reminders for those too, like move your car.
Oh, hell no. No, 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 no.
Exactly. It's
And well,
dumb.
I've
Do
got
better,
that
Charleston.
memorized, right? I got that memorized as like Monday, the trash, I have to set out cardboard for Tuesday. Tuesday night, I have to set out the trash for plastic and glass. Thursday, I have to set out the unrecyclable.
But it's almost
Friday
every day.
is organic. It's every day, but you get
Okay.
these little cans, right? And
Yeah.
they're just tiny, but it's kind of a pain in the ass.
I
But
bet
I
it
don't
is.
mind recycling. I
Yeah.
literally don't mind it at all. But also, there's so many little things that we can do to make our lives easier. In the sense is what I've learned, and that we've discussed this before on the podcast, is we've always learned to set up our house the way it's supposed to be, right? But why aren't you allowed to set up your house that actually works for you? So if you have a neurospicy brain, or you're very forgetful, or you're very whatever it may be, why can't you set up your house that actually works for you? So if I have a disability or I have something, you would accommodate your house to accommodate to that situation, right? So with my brain, the way my brain works is I have to see things out of cabinets, right? And so my brain hack is I pulled all of the food out of the cabinets, put it on shelves, and I put all of the appliances in the cabinets. Because I was buying double and triple, and because out of sight, out of mind. Close the cabinets, cans stack on top of cans, things are behind things. You know how many bottles of oregano I have, and you know how many, because I don't see it.
Well, you don't
And
open the cabinets and look and go through it before you go
You-
shopping. Because you could
well,
do that too. No,
But
doesn't
if
work.
you're talking about someone with ADHD,
Doesn't
that's
work.
never going to happen.
Okay, gotcha.
And so that would be a life hack, right?
Sure.
And so I think that for me, I know for myself, certain hacks work for like for me, I know the way my brain works, and I get so overwhelmed. So I look at my schedule only for the day that I'm in. I don't stress myself out by looking at it for tomorrow, right? And so I think that there's so many things and so many tips and tricks that people can do with dieting or with work or doing things little instead of waiting for things to like the last minute and then having to do it all at once, right?
Well, yes, and back to the reminders for a second too. You can use those for all kinds of things. Like I will, if I hear something really cool or some sort of thought pattern that I'm trying to implement to stop me thinking a certain way, or to, I don't know, just something new that I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool, and I want to remember to think that way or think positively or whatever it be. I set reminders for that stuff all the time, and I have them pop up throughout the day, or you can set it up for once a week or monthly or whatever you want to do, just so that it's something, if you don't want to forget that way of thinking, it's a gentle little way to just go, oh yeah, all right, yep, I got this.
Well, look, I put them in my phone, right? So in my phone, I have show me how it gets better. And then I will have little reminders with little things
Are you saying I'm not
about
good enough?
well, no, but like the next day, show me how it gets better. Show me how my life keeps getting better. But I think it's so important. When I wake up, I'll know exactly what to do. And what I do is I put that in there as a reminder until it becomes a part of my vernacular. And then I will replace that reminder with a different one.
I do that too. I'll do them for a while until I sort of get it, and then I'll delete that one. I've got, no joke, I've got, I don't know, probably 20 of them in here that pop up throughout. Ton of like different quotes that I find that just really resonate. So it's cool.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that.
I love it because I love that we are able to use technology in our favor to assist us so that we can be the best at whatever it is we're doing.
Yes, agreed.
Right?
And it's an easy way to do it, so that's awesome.
Yes.
So
And also another life hack, sorry.
Yeah.
Another life hack, it's like with cooking, right? I do a lot of, research and things, and I was listening to this girl who was like, instead of meal prepping, she was just like, prep everything, so like always have whatever it is, fruits and vegetables you use, like if you use tomatoes and onions and garlic a lot, have that all chopped up, and then like have your sauces made or your marinades made ahead of time, so that when you want to go cook stuff, all of that stuff is so easy and accessible.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think that those are really great life hacks. And so
especially if you've gone vegan like we have, or you've been vegan for a long time, but now that we're doing all these food restrictions, it's nice to have simple ingredients available that you can zhuzh up your meal, or you can, sauces are a big one for me. I've been making a lot of my own, like barbecue sauce, my own salad dressings, and trying different flavors, and it's fun actually because it's creative as well, so it gives you a chance to try new things.
Yeah, and it's fun because it's not, when you go to cook, you're not like, oh my God, I gotta take everything out, chop it all up, and then that makes you make different food choices, and then you just want the easy way out. And this way, there's no excuse.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, and so do you have any life hacks about making sure, like, how do you motivate yourself to get out the door every day to exercise?
I'm sorry, does that happen?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Well, it does happen. I mean, this challenge has forced it to happen, right? But it is not fun, and some days it's not easy. I think it helps to have a variety because I can't stand doing the same thing every day.
Exactly.
I get so bored if I know in my brain that I have to get up and go walk every day for an hour and a half or whatever it is. So now, we've implemented yoga, and I effing love it. Because some mornings it's easier to just go in that other room and just work on that mat for whatever, and then do the armbands and do the squats and stuff like that. So I think diversity is key in that too. And I have a bicycle here, which I really want to ride more, but I have to be in high energy to get on that thing and go, do all the...
Well, and so this is a great one that I love. Oh my God, I love this subject so much. This is a great one I love, is that, let's say if you're totally into a series, right? You only watch an episode of that series when you're on the bike, so that it will motivate you because you're excited to catch up on the next episode of a series.
It's an outside bicycle.
Oh, okay. I thought you had like a Peloton or something inside.
There ain't enough room in this place for that. Are you kidding? This place is so tiny. But
okay, well, see, I have the treadmill, right? So, like,
that's
certain
awesome.
things, I will only watch an episode of a show I really love, so then I'll get my booty back on that treadmill because I'm totally into watching the next episode.
That's great. That's great.
You know what I mean? And so then also, too, with getting me out the door, I try to get one of the young ladies on my street or something so that it forces me out. Right? And so, because sometimes it's just hard for me to get out there.
Yeah.
And,
well, I try to plan fun things to listen to, too. I'll either have a good podcast, or I'm constantly scanning Audible for, like, what's a cool new book, ones that I can learn from. And ones that are like little romances, you need to mix it up a little bit. Like, I like a wide variety of different things to listen to, and I don't want to listen to the same thing every day.
Yes, so, and when you're exercising, totally. What I do too is now, this is a really great hack, and I'm impressed with myself. So to learn more Italian, I found yoga in Italian. So I only follow women. So how you say downward dog in Italian is cani testa in giù. So it's like the dog's head is here.
Okay.
And so that's how it translates, right? So I didn't know that before.
That's great.
But what happens is when you're exercising, it starts to, get inside you. You start to listen. You start to go, oh, I get that. Okay, I see what she's doing next.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's always pretty cool, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you want to learn a different language or something, try it in a different language.
Well, shit, I'm still catching up with the actual yoga terms and poses. Like, this is all still very new to me, even though I've done a little bit in the past. But now I'm finally getting to the point where, and I'm just doing her 30-day whatever, but I'm finally getting to where I don't have to watch every single pose and look to see what she's doing. She'll say, and do this, and I can kind of anticipate where she's headed next. And it starts to get fun because now I feel like I get it. So,
Totally.
Cool.
And I really enjoy the yoga in the sense of, what's your favorite yoga position? Mine's downward dog. I don't know why, but I think it's like a full stretch and like strengthens the arms and like, so what I learned is if I'm not in the mood for something, I have to visualize myself doing it before I actually do it so that I can actually get up and do it. Do you see what I'm saying?
I think I like the thread the needle stretch because it stretches out, like sitting at the computer all the time. It's like, this is so, your shoulders are always tight, and doing that dang, like, it's so good. It's just like you lay there and you're just like, oh my God. And I never knew that stretch before I started doing yoga. There's a lot of stretches I've never done. And I was like a track runner for 4 years in school, and I mean, we stretched all different kind of ways, but the yoga just gets in there differently. It's really cool.
It gets in there differently. Yes.
Gentle, and I love that.
Totally. And then,
what about as far as hacks, as far as, I don't know, and I'm just saying this because you put it on the list, friendships?
My friendship hack is I have a very good unicorn friend that there are certain things that I just overlook because everything else is better. It doesn't mean that I never speak up. It just means that I don't nitpick in my own brain about it, and I'm not taking it so personal.
Yeah,
they don't.
I'm sure you have to do that with me too.
Sorry. I'm sure you have to do that with me.
We both have to do it with each other.
Right?
I mean, that's any relationship. You're going to have something.
Yes,
Nobody's
but
perfect,
You have to realize, though, that those people aren't meaning to do it intentionally towards you. It's just who they are.
Yeah.
And before, I never realized that, right? I would be so sensitive. I would think that they were doing it on purpose or to agitate me or to be frustrated or whatever it may be. So I had a conversation with someone the other day, and I was frustrated about going to the allergist, and so I wrote this person, and they wrote back this whole negative spiel of like, it's going to take forever, it's blah, blah, blah. So I thought I was being funny. Okay, Miss Positivity, I understand how it works, and blah, blah. So then they write back, why so aggressive? I'm like,
that's what I think of when I think of you, Dina.
Yeah, I'm so aggressive, right? But then I was like, okay, Dina, you could either blow this up or chill out. And I go, no aggressive on this way. I said, but I understand how the Italian system works. And I said, but sometimes when I'm going through things like that, I would prefer positive reinforcement, not negative.
But also texting and tone, like it's so easy to take that out of, and maybe that person took it that way, but you didn't mean it that way. And a quick thing would be, that's just
no. And I said no.
I
said no aggressiveness at all.
Right.
And
but it's so easy to misconstrue things over text sometimes.
So easy, but I also think if you nip it in the bud in that moment, so that I don't become resentful and then just ignore this person in the future, because then I don't want to be like, oh, they're always so negative. Oh, they're blah blah. No. I'm learning to speak up front about something so that I don't carry that resentment with me.
Right.
And I'm saying to do it with people who you're invested in. I'm not saying to do it with somebody who...
Excuse me, pollen season.
So I'm not saying it to do it with people who you randomly know, I'm just saying if it's people that you really care about, cultivating a very healthy relationship, it's very important to speak up right away, right?
Yes.
I think it's really important and in a very kind and respectful way. But when you're in the throes of emotion or something, I think that it is so important for you to go like, hey, like that hurt, or hey, like, and not in an aggressive way. What was that?
I'm trying to lower the shades a little bit so the sun's not in my eyes so I don't sneeze on you again. Okay.
Oh no,
Sorry.
I don't mind, but now you're in the dark.
I know, but damn
It's
it.
okay. I know.
So let's talk about this for a second, because easier said than done for some people, and let's explain exactly what you're meaning, right? Because this has been a big epiphany for me as of late too, is the speaking up in a kind way. Sometimes easier said than done, and these little things that we misconstrue, right? So I guess that could be a good example, is what you just
how about
mentioned,
instead
right?
of texting, send a voice clip so
Exactly,
that they don't
like,
misconstrue
yes.
your tone.
Yes, I was going to say, the text, sometimes it's harder to go back and forth and try to prove
Yeah.
your point over text, but
Yeah, and that's what I do is I send a little voice clip so that my tone is very chill,
yes.
right? And then I just go, hey, like, I'm sorry, like, no aggressiveness,
Yeah.
there at all. And then after I've done that, it is not my responsibility how you
Right.
take it.
Right, but I think to your point, it is so important to speak up when these little things happen and clarify it so quickly, like you said, because what happens if we don't, then we get afraid to speak up the next time because somebody's kind of coming at us and we're not standing our ground, so to speak, clarifying the air, feeling comfortable in the relationship, moving forward in a healthy way, right?
For sure. And another hack would be start learning to assess your relationships in the sense of, do I feel good? Why am I frustrated? Or certain people will avoid certain people because they don't want to have an altercation or something, and be like, well, why is there always an altercation when we hang out? Or should a conversation be had? And do I even like hanging out with this person? Or am I
Right.
doing it out of obligation?
Right.
Right? Because I don't know if you've noticed or people out there have noticed, but lots of stuff is accelerating. And meaning, like,
Yes.
people are in your face really quick, stuff is dropping off really quick, stuff is coming in really quick. And so I think, which each friend is different, I allow different things for different people, and other people who may see that may get frustrated. Well, you don't do that for me. Well, our relationship is different. You shouldn't compare yourself to other relationships. You don't know why I accept that from somebody else or what that person is going through. So don't compare
Absolutely.
yourself to other people and their friendships and think that, because then we make it about us.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I think it's,
because I have that happen. I mean, I've been guilty of doing that to people before too, and taking things personally, and it's
I
so
was the
hard, and
biggest
that
guilt
is
master.
the work, right? Is how do we not take all of this shit personally when people say these little things, and
because that's a you problem, and that's
Exactly.
something that you have to figure out.
Right.
Is why are you taking so many things personal? Why does everything seem to always come back at you? Why do you seem
Right.
to never take accountability? And then what it is, because I like to work with people in readings, is what it is where did that happen to where you feel like now that you never got enough, so now you're comparing yourself with relationships to everyone else and they're getting more love than you? Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And so I think that that's a very difficult one. I've had people in my life who go, oh, I see you with people on Facebook, and I see you with blah, 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 and you never include me in that. And it's like, dude, I was in line at Disneyland and I met a girl and we all took pictures. Like, I don't know that person, right?
Yeah.
And so somebody else has added a narrative to something that isn't even really true. So really, our hack could be however it is you want to work is let that shit go. Don't take it personal. It's not about you. You know what I mean? So I've learned now that even for myself, I used to literally, when Facebook first came out, I would literally be like, God, everyone does so much more than I do. I'm always so alone. Like, why am I never included? And da 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 da. And then when I found out with the neurodivergent stuff and the autism and everything, is that it actually turns out that is something I added to it to justify because I didn't understand in my brain that I actually liked to be alone. So
Okay.
I would create scenarios where I would be alone, but then I would justify it by saying no one wanted me around because in my family, you were a perpetual victim. Do you see? So I falsely, inaccurately attached a narrative to something that
Sure,
didn't
of
go
course.
there
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
but so
But you
once
actually
I,
wanted to be alone.
yes, and I never knew that.
Huh,
It,
yeah.
I tortured myself. But once
Well, it
I
was letting
found
go of the
out,
narrative finally, and then still being alone that you went, oh, wait, right?
no, it wasn't until I found out that I had autism and ADHD that that's part of my brain and the way I work is that sometimes I do better alone because of my nervous system. I always thought because of therapy or my family or the stuff I've been in, oh, why aren't you ever with people? You don't have friends. Or why are you always such a weirdo and you're alone? Or why are you such an introvert? Family would say stuff like that. And then I would apply that to me, going, oh my God, I'm such an
Yeah,
introvert. Or I'm so. Do you
I
see what I'm
gotcha.
saying?
Yes, yes, yes.
So
So,
it's always sorry. I was going to say it's always interesting to me is that when people become aware of something, I'm always curious of why they don't want to seek more information about it, right? And so
well,
they'll
hopefully they
sit in
would.
it
I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, I would say that you are seeking more information or you
for
wouldn't
sure.
be here because this is a podcast about growth, right? And
Absolutely.
trying to be a better human being. So, but yeah, there are a lot of people out there, of course, who enjoy
Ignorance is
ignorant
bliss.
bliss. But what
Or
I was going
enjoy
to
being the
say,
victim.
right, but what I was going to say, as opposed to, and maybe not as opposed to, but in addition to trying to learn not to take things personally, is trying to get out ahead of it. This is something, again, that Abraham Hicks talks about a lot, and I love this, and I've been trying to practice this. It's like if you know that you're going into a situation with someone who you're used to sort of reacting and whatnot, get out ahead of it. Prepare your mind. Look for those things possibly to come your way, and imagine in your brain how you're going to just keep your mouth shut.
Yes, or yes.
And
Totally.
be okay, and remember in that moment that it is not about you. It's just who they are. It's how they're used to behaving. And, I
So,
mean,
can
my
we-
family knows that I'm working on that. I am still a work in progress on that. But
Okay, so
but it's
can
helpful.
you do the Abraham for me because I'm not as educated on Abraham as you are, right? So if so devil's advocate, right?
Sure.
If I'm sitting here gaslighting myself and it's something of I'm going to go to a party and someone always picks on me, right?
Uh-huh.
And what is it that I can do to get out ahead of that so that if I'm in that situation again, in order to stop it?
So before you go into the party, you say to yourself, okay, Ashley, Dina, remember, this person always kind of comes at you with these things. So just, this, you're going to prepare yourself going in. They're probably going to do it today, and just be prepared. Remember, it's not about you. If, you want to be kind rather than right, and you don't want to escalate the situation, just let it go. Let it water off a duck's back kind of thing.
So
let it roll.
non-reactive.
Non-reactive, exactly. But it's having the forethought to know that just because you've had a conversation with this person maybe, or you've told them not to do that in the past, that they're going to stop, because they're probably not. So it means remembering, okay, if I'm going to be around this person, I've got to expect that this is probably going to come up, and I need to keep control over the only thing I can, which is myself.
Yes, which is the best hack ever is you only have control over you. That is all
Right.
you can do.
Right.
And
But sometimes it snags you off guard, and somebody you're not expecting to hear it from does it to you, and you're like, oh shit, and you have a little slip.
Totally.
But I find that most of the time it's the people that always do it. Do it again.
Totally. And
Like, you don't do it to me. I don't ever find myself going, damn it, Dina said
Yeah.
something that really upset me today, and I don't know how to get her to stop. It's never those people. It's always the same people.
Totally. Totally. And you know what? It's so powerful for us to take control of that part of us. It's so empowering to know, to be like, they're gonna be that way. It has
Yep.
nothing to do with me. They do it to everyone. You can't take it personal because, and then someone will go, yeah, but they can't talk to me that way, and they can't. Da-da-da-da-da." Okay, then don't be around them. Yeah,
Right.
but my friends and family are around them. Okay, I get it, but which is it? You can't have both. You
Right.
can't be around them and expect them to change, and
Right.
you do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
And
can't
so
have it both ways. You can't
that's
be
a
around
you
them
thing.
and have a great time, but then also expect that they're not going to say the dumb things they're going to say.
Totally.
And trust me, it's taken me 50 today years of learning, that that's how it works.
Totally. And, I've also learned too is that for me, like, I don't know, tell me at like home, like when you wake up, is the hack that keeps you out of bed in the morning, or like, let's say people, do you make your bed right away, right
Yes.
when you wake up so that you don't
Absolutely.
get back in bed?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
So,
I'm never tempted to get back in bed. Once I'm up, I'm up. But I
Oh,
mean, I will
see.
lay there because I do our social media stuff in the morning. I know
me
you do
too.
yours too. So I'll lay there and do that, and maybe check email and social media, whatever. And then I get up. But I always make my bed right away just because I don't like to look at it. You know me, I like to be clean. I have a little bit of
For
OCD
sure.
going on probably, but it's like, no, I want that bed made, I want shit picked up, I want,
Well, see, for me, that's a hard one because
on.
I deal with chronic pain.
Right, right.
So even though I make my bed, it's kind of frustrating because then if I'm in the bed, those damn chihuahuas, they got to go under the blanket. So if I'm sitting on top of the bed and it's made, all they do is go like this to you to get under
Yeah.
the blanket. So I have
Well,
to
it's
lift
just
up the
because
blanket.
that's where you're sitting, and they
For
want to be
sure. No,
cozy. But if you were
totally.
sitting on the sofa,
I can't though because my back. And so sometimes my back has to be flat down, right? And so there are just certain days that
Yeah.
I can't. So it's not that I want to live in my bed, but also I have learned, I call it maybe one day I'll be bold enough to share it, but I created this ADHD dream cart. And it's on rollers, and I have everything I need by the side of my bed because I know myself and how my brain works. How my brain works is you are not going to catch me in front of a mirror doing my nightly or morning facial routine. I am going to do it because of my back or sometimes whatever. I will do it on my bed as I'm getting ready in the morning. I'll put the creams out, and that little cart has a roller, and I could put material over it if people came over. It's not a super mess, but it's things that I grab for all the time, and people with ADHD can understand it. It's like a doom pile, but on a rolling cart. That works for me, and I've been able to keep my bed clean, the sides of my bed clean, everything's on the rack. I showed it to my ex, and he goes, that is genius. And I go, thank you. Because for me, I kept trying to accommodate and make my room about the way it's supposed to be. Oh, you're supposed to put everything here, or everything's supposed to go in a cabinet. But on the ADHD dream cart is everything I use all the time. The dog's medicine, the, certain things that I need by the side of the bed, my, creams for my pain or my medicine or whatever it is. I know myself. If I go into different cabinets every day, I'm pulling everything out of cabinets and I'm creating more messes. So I've learned that this works really great for me.
Awesome.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think like even just little things for people to make your life a little easier. My dad taught me growing up that you can't put a price on convenience. And so if there are things that are going to take chopped carrots, chop this, chop that, buy them grated, buy them chopped, do yourself a favor. Do you know what I mean? These are all little hacks to make your life easier in a subtle way that aren't super expensive, that actually make it fun or actually make your life doable in a different way. You know what I mean? And so I think like my hack keeping myself accountable is sending the numbers to you every day. If
Yes.
it wasn't for that, I could tell you I would be lying to myself. I would not do it. I would make excuses. So
having an accountability partner is huge. I will second you on that because everything that we've taken on and decided to do, it's only because we check in with each other at the end of each day. It's just one text. That's it. It's one screenshot
That's
of a
it.
text. But
I know it's coming, so I know that
exactly.
I have to do it.
Exactly. And
You know what I mean?
Yes, I know, it's super helpful. Now, what about so we both gave up alcohol, right? A year and almost a year and a half
December
ago.
30th, 2021.
It was a little earlier for me.
I know.
But it's been, a year and 3 or 4 months now. So, how do you hold yourself? Like, do you still need a hack for
No,
wanting
well, here's what I've
alcohol or
learned.
wanting weed or wanting anything to numb out,
No, okay, so
especially with pain?
for sure, with pain, I quit everything on my birthday and threw everything away. But what I do now is what I've learned psychologically in my brain. I don't say I quit. I just now say I don't drink and I don't smoke.
Right.
It's because it's not an option for people to come in and go, oh, come on, just one drink tonight. No, I just don't drink.
Yes,
Not like, oh, I'm
absolutely.
trying to quit. So that's helped my brain a lot of like, I'm just not a drinker. People
Well, and
don't
the food
question that.
stuff. Right, right. Okay, so let's stick to this for a second. But like, and what about? Are you ever tempted?
To drink?
Yeah.
No, not at
No.
all.
It's
Not
funny.
at
I
all.
haven't been in one situation. I think that sometimes I do have the thought of like, oh God, I'll anticipate that I'm gonna want it, and that freaks me out more than actually being in the moment. I have not been in one situation yet where I have thought it's better for me to have some alcohol right now than not. Like, there's not been once where I've thought, yeah, it feels like I should have a drink right now, or a glass of wine, or a beer, or whatever. I've always felt better about leaving it. But I do
you
get
know
a
what
little
I do?
freaked out about events coming down the pipe and going, I wonder if I'm going to want a glass of wine
No,
there.
all
or-
I do is look at like on TV, on like any reality show, like The Housewives or anything, and watch them hung over the next day, and I'm like, no, thank you, I don't want. And that's a cure for me. If
Yeah,
I
good.
can learn from your mistakes, meaning anyone, is that I don't ever want to feel hungover again, and that's what I keep
It's a horrible
reminding
headache.
myself of.
Yeah.
For me, it got my stomach, right? And so I used to call it gut rot. And but I'm in a different mental space. After the cannabis, for me, I didn't use it to numb out, but I was using it for the chronic pain. But then it takes one thing for me. I've been reading and listening to podcasts, and where they say it closes the third eye, I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's like, well, that's my business. That's what I do
Yeah,
for a living.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
helping myself. Do
I
you
know,
know
and
what
as
I
much
mean?
as because when we stopped drinking, I did transition off of alcohol a little bit by getting on the CBD seltzers, and then I graduated to like the D9 and the THC seltzers, and it was like, but it just felt too similar. It was a nice transition, but it felt too similar to
Well, I feel like it got me
picking
through.
up something,
Yeah.
to calm down and numb out.
Yeah, it got me through to that. And then I also feel is that when it got me through, and then I go, wait, so you just transferred one thing to another thing. And then my
Right.
biggest fear was always food, right? And so I was like, oh no, now if I let this go, I don't want to be addicted to the food, right? And so I also have another really great hack for
Well,
people. Oh, sorry, go on.
Before we move off of this, I
Okay.
want to clarify the difference in, like, I don't think that it's bad for you to use, some THC or some weed if it's really helps your pain. What the distinction I'm trying to make here is that we're not reaching for it because our mind is in a place of, like, needing calming, right?
For sure. But what I realized is that I'm in pain every day, so it was a great excuse to smoke it all the time.
Right, right. Well, exactly, and that's what I'm saying, like,
Yes.
how do you,
Yeah. Well, I
That's
had to
tough.
be honest with myself. And I had to be like, okay, you know what? Let's just. And again, remember before when I was talking visualizing? So I kept visualizing myself before my birthday, going like, okay, that's going to be the last day. And I got myself mentally prepared.
You got out ahead of it.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, thank you for that. And that's what I did. And so my therapist also taught me too, is like, if you are struggling to get up to do something, and that's also how a neurodivergent brain works. Like when I moved from my old apartment to this apartment, I had come seeing this apartment and I already knew in my head where everything was going. So when I went to do it, it wasn't work for me because I already knew where to put everything. And so the same thing with the weed or the alcohols, I was like, okay, and I started mentally preparing myself. And then it was so much easier on the day
Right.
because I was like, and I also picked a day where you didn't want to, because then I can always say, oh, well, I quit on my birthday. I didn't want to have a different random day, so now I'm not changing that, right? But I just don't do that anymore.
Well, and the same thing comes up for me with food because, you know, I've always eaten, I've been vegetarian, so I've always eaten the cheese and the dairy and everything and fish. So now, you know, I've just narrowed down my choices again with people when we're choosing spots to go out to dinner, and that's been challenging. But thankfully, you know, there's like 2 restaurants in Charleston that I can go to. And my friends are happy to go there, and they're happy for, you know, if we do dinner together at someone's home, you know, I'll bring something I can eat, and, you know, but
Yes.
the conversations are what are just like continually like a bit of a pain in the ass, because it's like, they're like, oh, well, when you're done with the challenge, we can go to blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I don't know if when I'm done with the challenge, I'm going to want to go back, because I've always wanted to see what it feels like to be this level of healthy. To commit on this level to myself for putting the best ingredients in my body, and for not worrying about, am I contributing to, you know, the suffering of animals and all of that
course.
stuff, even on a
Of
dairy
course.
level. Dairy farms are horrific, you know, so
Ugh.
it's like, that's my personal choice, and that's how I want to live my life, you know, so I hope I don't go back to it. That's what my hope is. So
Well,
those
and
conversations are challenging in moments, you know.
And those conversations, sometimes my friends can make it harder for me if I don't make a big deal out of what I'm going to eat or what we're going to do. Please, you don't.
Right.
And I get that people feel uncomfortable if, let's say, I'm sober and I'm eating clean and then I'm watching them. And I was talking to my dad about this the other day. And my dad goes, well, it's not fun eating with someone who isn't enjoying, going, oh my God, isn't this amazing? But I do the same with my food. And
I do
another
enjoy
one
my
is,
food, though.
me too.
Yeah.
And I love it. And then
Yeah.
I used to, when I lived in the States, I would call ahead at restaurants and I would let them know ahead so that I didn't have that kind of pressure. And there were times where they would say, well, if you could drop off certain ingredients, and this was like 20 years ago,
Right.
I would drop off certain ingredients or whatever. And
Right.
so I preemptively, you know,
Right.
would fix that. And so
Right.
it's like, please, people, if it's not that I choose to do this. I have no choice. It's for my health and my autoimmunes and everything. Yes, I choose to be vegan, but
Yep.
all of the rest of the stuff with the no
Right.
sugar, the no gluten,
gluten.
you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And
Yes.
so I also think that this is very important. It's a great life hack that I've learned for years of having tons of allergies. So it's a process of elimination. So this last couple weeks, I have a histamine horrible now tolerance where any fruit I eat, I literally have been projectile vomiting it up, right? And I don't
crazy.
know but then what I do is I go, okay, there's a correlation thing. What did I eat different than I normally eat? What did I implement into my diet?
Yep.
So instead of going to the allergist every place else,
Yes.
I figured it out. And I don't think I told you I figured it out. I had ordered all of these proteins, of
I
course,
knew
because
that.
I go obsessed. It was the sucralose.
Well, of course it was.
What do you mean? Of course it was. I don't know what sucralose
I love
is.
you
It's
so
from
much.
a beetroot.
When you ordered all those flavored
But they're
protein
they're
powders,
all-
I was like, girl.
They're sugar free. They're vegan. They're gluten
Yes, but
free.
it's artificial ingredients going in to create those flavors always. So if you get the unflavored, then you still get the protein, and then you just flavor your things
I got
naturally.
unflavored, and it still has sucralose.
Oh, well, you need to find one without
So
that, yeah.
I understand. So
Sorry.
then and life hack, I offered to
Yeah.
sell all of those to a friend of mine who wants the same protein
Oh,
powders.
good.
And I was like, yeah, and I was like,
Perfect.
here, I bought them for a certain amount. I'll sell them to you for $5 each. And but it was that process of elimination. So before I went down the rabbit hole of the allergist, the test, the this, do a process
Yes.
of elimination, correlate
Right.
what it is, and you start taking control of your own health, your own body. No one knows your body as good as you do. Then from that, I was able to remember when I used to get those big dark circles down here. Okay, and so when I was eating those, I was on the phone with my friend Stacy. Hi, Stacy, if you're listening. And then I go, dude, aren't my circles darker? And she goes, yeah. And then she goes, and I was getting these dark things last summer and whatever around the mouth. And she goes, and it's also darker around the mouth. That's the histamine allergy thing. Well, when I had those big dark circles, that was when I was eating gluten.
Gluten.
And then since I've been off the gluten, they completely, I mean, they're only up to here now. They were down here before.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
black. And so an allergist, I've been to lots of doctors, a dermatologist, no one knew what it was. But if it wasn't for me, always correlating, I keep notes, I keep a diary, I'm very consistent, I'm very diligent because I don't have the luxury of spending a ton of money and going for more tests and doing
Right.
all of these things all over again. And so by me being able to figure that out, I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I was really proud of myself because it took me a couple weeks. I nipped it in the bud, and now I know what it is.
Yep, exactly. Process of elimination of that stuff
Totally.
is super powerful.
Yes,
So,
it's
good.
powerful,
I'm happy
and
for you.
thank you. And sometimes it takes work, and I know a lot of people don't want to do the work. Like I have friends right now who are going, "I'm so sick, and the doctor told me to stay away from gluten, but I can't give up my wine, and I'm not ready to give up gluten." And I said, "Listen, you have to be completely ready. I get it, and know that about yourself, but put a time limit on it."
Right.
So, okay, I know that this is bad for me. I know I'm not feeling well, but let my mind adjust, and that, Abraham Hicks way of mentally seeing how it's going to be done, how you're going to start preparing for it, and then have a start date.
Well, and I will say, before we did this challenge together, I was trying to eat gluten-free, but I was cheating a lot. And I would say to myself, and I would say out loud to the people around me, okay, well, I'll cheat today because I want this. But what happens is that's not the way it works. If you're trying to, if I learned anything from my ex who had Lyme disease, who had to figure out how to starve the bacteria and the things that were going on in her body, this is what I keep hearing from nutritionists that I follow and any of these, people is like, if you want to heal your body, you can't have cheat days. You have to eliminate completely the thing from your body that is affecting you. So for me, I was allowing too much gluten. I was doing too many things that were then showing up as nodules in the thyroid, starting to lead to other autoimmune things happening like the rheumatoid arthritis. Like, I don't want that shit. I already got Hashimoto's. Like, I don't want more, because what happens is if you let them go, what I've learned from watching documentaries, from listening to people, from talking to people who have them, there will be another one. There will be another one. Like once you have autoimmune, they start compounding and compounding and compounding.
I got 5.
Exactly. So if you don't take control of that shit early on and start eliminating those things from your diet, you're gonna be in a mess. So
This is the first time I've ever given myself a real chance, if I'm being honest, at
same.
clean, healthy living.
Same.
And
So
I
thank
do
you
see
for
a difference.
suggesting that
You're
challenge.
welcome.
Yeah, because
You're welcome.
I recognized it as an opportunity. I'm like, somebody to do it with me who, oh my God, yes, let's do it. That's great. So, yeah, y'all find accountability partners or ask your husband, wife, whoever, and try it. Try it for 2 weeks and see if you can get through it, and just see how it feels. Like the recipes that we're doing right now on Life in the New Normal Cafe are ridiculous. But they're so good. I mean, they really are. Some of them are good meals that are delicious and fun and not that difficult, y'all.
Well, and they're so good, and the reason why we do these great recipes is I don't like feeling left out, right? And so I want to feel like I still get to be a part of the yumminess in eating, and that when everyone's going to have fun, that, they get to eat all that, and then I don't, right? And so
Yeah, you
that's
keep
where
saying that.
but listen.
Yeah.
it was because I grew up in a household with people who had a lot of food addiction. There was no one ever supporting you on your diet. It was like,
Right.
oh, such a bummer you can't eat that.
Here's some
Or,
cake.
ooh, this is. I mean, my
Yeah.
dad is the cutest thing ever. But the other day we were talking, and I go, "Are you eating an intimate coffee cake?" And he goes, "Uh-huh." And he took it out, and he goes, "It's so good." And that's the kind
Yep.
of household, the humor and the fun. And so,
Yeah.
and so nobody in my family has to eat like I do, right? And so you do feel left out when everyone's ordering Cheesecake Factory or California Peach Kitchen or
Well,
something, and they're
when
all
you say
in
they
it.
don't have to eat the way you do, maybe it just hasn't caught up to them yet. But I swear,
sure.
like, I don't know. I hope it never does, but I don't want to find out. I've got signs already of things coming in, so I'm trying to stop it where it is. And I think, the recipes that we're doing, I just think it's fun. I think it's fun to be
Yeah.
creative and see if, like you said, we can make these things, but in a more healthy way and still have them taste delicious. So,
Totally.
yeah,
And
we
I
got-
love that. I
Yeah,
love
speaking of
that
which,
for us. Tell me.
this week's recipe is mint chip ice cream, which is not a meal, y'all, but it's something
know.
fun and it's something, it's a treat and it's a healthy
Did you
treat.
like it?
It's not my favorite.
Well, I think that you
But I think
are
I need to work
a
on
food
it. I
snob.
know what I did wrong. I think I know what I
Okay.
did wrong. I pulverized my chocolate. And so it just was like,
Oh no! You have to.
yeah.
It mint chip. It's in the.
I
It's in the
understand.
name, Ashley. It's
I
a
know.
chip.
well, I couldn't understand why you put the damn things in the blender anyway, or in the food processor.
Well,
I was like, they're
because-
already chips. Why are we chipping them more?
I
Anyway.
don't know, to make them spread throughout the
Yeah,
whole thing even
anyway,
more.
I
But
just-
I've
y'all
learned.
will see.
Yeah.
You know what a great sous chef I am. Y'all will see.
That is some
But,
funny stuff.
yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
anything else?
I'm just thinking, oh yeah, another great life hack I think is so important is when you're going through a time, I'm not saying to gaslight yourself to not feel bad, but it is so important to allow yourself to feel things. You can cry it out, you can be pissed off, put a time limit on it. So if you are feeling depressed and you're really down, you need 2-3 days of rest, allow yourself that pity party. But I can promise you, when you put a time limit on it and you go, okay, I'm going to give myself till Monday, I'm going to allow myself to be gluttonous, sleep all day, cry all day, feel bad for myself. But literally, it is so important to cap it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's really, really important.
Yeah.
And all these little things with subtle changes and profound impacts it's just so important. So like when I look at my room or certain things I have to tackle and it becomes too overwhelming. So the other day I changed the wardrobe from winter to spring. I said to myself I was just going to go through the winter stuff and then put it away. And then the next day, I pulled the stuff out from under the bed. And it didn't become something completely overwhelming that I kept avoiding and avoiding and avoiding. And when I did it that way, literally, it probably took me 20 minutes each day to change it. But I think a lot of times we avoid things because in our head we make it such a bigger job than it actually really is. And then we avoid it and put it off and put it off and put it off. And then you're like, dude, you're already into July and you haven't changed your wardrobe yet.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think those things are so important. And the number one thing is start. Instead of just, it's okay to constantly talking to yourself and telling yourself you can't and I think I wrote this one thing down, which is so important that
Do tell.
I wrote down okay, so I do, and then we'll wrap it up with this, but I do this list of how we can be so paranoid or nervous, those of us who are super anxious or whatever. I do my yeah but what if list. So if I'm going somewhere and I'm like, oh, but the dogs need their medicine, and what if I my back hurts or whatever, so okay, yeah, but if my back hurts, I bring my back spray. Yeah, but if I'm going to be gone overnight, what if I get a bladder infection? I bring my antibiotic. So then I can therefore calm down and know that I have everything I need, so that I'm more calm going into something, so that I can enjoy it. Because I'm somebody who, with my ailments and all of these things, it's hard for me to be away from my home for such a long period of time. But if I create like a little bag and it's kind of like my little kit, my yeah but kit, then I'm totally calm and I have a great day. And most of the time, I never even need the stuff in the yeah but bag, but I at least have it.
Yep, that's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
You
Yeah.
know, do what
Yeah.
works for you. Do what makes you comfortable. So, you know, even the dogs have a yeah but bag.
Yeah, well, if you have dogs and you're going somewhere, you have to bring stuff for them. It's like having a child.
Yes. Yeah, but what if they get cold? They get a sweatshirt. Yeah, but what if they need a snack? I go to snack. Yeah, but
Those are your children.
yes.
Your fur
There we
kids.
go. And
Yes,
that's it.
yes. Yeah.
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 It's awesome.
That's awesome. So I hope some of this was helpful for y'all.
I think it's fun and helpful. Hey, and if you have any life hacks that make your life easier and simple, or they're fun, or something that you've realized that you do that help you, engage with this, you know, post and interact and help us, because we want some more life hacks.
Yes, please.
And,
And
you know,
it
it's
is
so
almost
important.
summer, so y'all for real use the little used chapstick thing where you roll up your $20 bill and you can just stick it anywhere. You don't have to carry anything. You know, you can carry
Wait,
your
what
cash.
do you mean use your
like if you want to
chapstick
carry
in?
some cash to the beach or something.
Uh-huh.
You don't want to worry about carrying a bag and then leaving it to where somebody might steal it or
Uh-huh.
stick
You
it
just
in
roll
a-
chapstick on a $20 bill around chapstick and put it here?
No, you an old used tube of chapstick or Burt's Bees or
Oh,
whatever.
and you put it inside.
Stick it inside and roll it up because nobody's going to want to steal your chapstick, hopefully.
Oh, that's
right?
cool.
I know, I saw
like
that one. I thought that was
one.
cool. And it's like
And-
small and easy to stick in your pocket and tote around, and you don't have to worry about like somebody stealing your cash.
Well,
while
and
you're in
I
the
saw
water.
this lady, because we get tons of mosquitoes here, and I saw this lady put Irish Spring around the door, and she said it keeps
I've
the
heard
mosquitoes
that.
out.
Does that really work?
I don't know. I gotta find Irish Spring in Italy, but I'm just saying I saw it, and it looks really cool.
I want to try that because we have a ton of mosquitoes here.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that
So-
before. I'm like, it just sounds weird, but okay. I know, I'm
But
open
it
to
makes
that.
sense.
Does it? Why?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense in the scent. They said that they don't like the scent of the Irish Spring.
Well, yeah, but why wouldn't you use something like citronella or a spray or why Irish Spring?
Because
That's what
I
know.
cannot
Can I
take
bathe
the
in it?
stand of that.
Will they leave me alone if I bathe in it?
Try it.
I mean, isn't that the likely thing we should do?
Well, you don't want them in your house. Is
Since
the
it's
key.
soap.
Yeah, but you don't. It's like
I
stopping
don't.
them from going into the house.
Yeah. Well, I have
Like-
screens, thank God. But
So,
I'm
like,
gonna try
what's a
it
southern
anyway.
what's a southern hack your mom did when you were growing up for colds?
I'm sorry,
the
my
flu.
mother? My mother? She'd go, suck it up. You're fine. You're not sick. You're fine. Get to school. For colds?
That is so funny. Well,
Give
like
me
in
some
Italy,
bourbon.
you
I
know
don't
how
know.
like chicken
No.
soup in the States, Italy, it's a bowl of pasta, right? And so that's their chicken soup, right?
Yeah,
So every
yeah.
country has something different. I drink Manuka honey with some ginger, lemon, and a little bit of cayenne pepper.
My mom would be here, take an antibiotic. You'll be fine. Hence, my
Okay.
body got like overwhelmed with antibiotics as a child. And I got, anyway, we won't
See?
talk about. I love
Patty.
you, Mom.
Oops, I said her name.
It's all right. She knows.
See, she
But,
knows. I love her.
But now I approach colds so much differently. Like the minute I start feeling a little bit of tickle in the throat, I have that liquid zinc, and I just start doing the dropper fulls. And Anthony William, medical medium, taught me that. It's like just hit the back of your throat, let it sit there, gargle with it, swallow
Oh, I
it.
didn't know that.
Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. So do that a few times a day. And of course, mouthwash. Like I gargle like crazy. And I've been kicking so many things because I can feel it coming on. And then all of a sudden, 2 days later, it's gone. But,
See, and then I learned I put the sliced onions in my socks when I had COVID that last time. And I'll tell
you
you.
gotta stop that before you have a partner.
I know, but until then, I mean, my dogs wouldn't sleep near me, but still.
You put it up against your feet, right? I've heard that.
You put it inside in the sock, and then when
Right.
you wake up, it's like brown.
That is disgusting, Dina.
I know, but it worked.
What did it do? It drew out your
It was supposed
toxins
to
and
draw out the infection, the toxin, and then you put it cut up around the house. Listen,
What?
I don't care if it's placebo, whatever it is, it worked.
Well,
So you cut it up in a dish and you keep it around your house when you're sick.
Well, so the other way you can remove toxins in your feet that doesn't smell as bad is Epsom salt in a bucket and soak them for like half an hour. Mm-hmm. Warm water and Epsom salt. I have never done that, but I've been with people who have done that and said that I don't know, they swore by it. But
see, I'm so sensitive, it gets me so nauseous.
Does it?
The Epsom salt gets me
But
too
the
nauseous.
smell of onions under your blankets all night doesn't
smell
make you
them
nauseous?
in your feet,
Are you
and they're in a
for
sock.
real right now? Girl.
What?
Well, my sniffer is so sensitive, I could smell you from 2 rooms away under the covers with those things.
See, but maybe that's the foodie in me. I'm like dreaming about like,
Maybe.
oh yeah, onion, all this, what can we put it
shit.
in?
That's hilarious. Anyway, thank y'all
This has
so
been
much
so
for joining.
fun.
Yes.
Yay!
And yes, sorry, today was a little ridiculous, as it tends to be sometimes.
No, I
but-
think it's fun to share stuff, not be too heavy. Like,
Yeah.
tell me, I want to know your makeup hacks. I want to know how you look cute quick. Like, anything, any hack that's going to make your life easier. Don't gatekeep it. Share it.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. That's awesome.
You know?
Share. Please, y'all like and subscribe and follow. Please, everything helps our numbers.
Yay,
if you
thank
enjoy
you.
these conversations, then help us out. Engage with the posts like Dina's saying. All of it
Yay.
helps. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being here.
Yay.
And check
see
out
you
the mint
next
chocolate
week.
chip recipe, y'all, in Life in the New Normal Cafe. So we'll
Yummy.
see you
Okay.
next week.
Yay. I'll
Yeah.
be here.
Have ciao for now.
I said, yay, ciao for now.
Okay. All right.
Ciao for now.
Bye.
Join us here each week as we unpack life in the new normal with a new hashtag Subtle Change Profound Impact from Coach Dina. To get a little daily inspirational message in your social feed, follow us on YouTube Shorts, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Copyright 2020 Angel Baby Films, all rights reserved. For entertainment purposes only.